I,
bad. I don't
I
even
understand why.
brutal.
So let me start this thing off right. What's going on, guys? You know who it is. It's your boy, Big Guilty Cigar Podcast, aka Innocent. I am joined today by my special guest, Philippe, aka known as Cigarside Chat. I always butcher it. I don't know why. It's my boy Cigarside Chat. Also, you know, he's maybe 20 minutes from where I grew up.
Right.
We actually grew up kind of close to each other. So it's kind of cool, you
Yeah, yeah.
know.
We should have done this on in
Uh,
person next time.
yeah, yeah. Listen, whenever you're ready, man. Whenever you're ready. Even though I'm in Jersey now, I'm all the way out in Newark now. So,
Yep.
but there's a lounge in New Rochelle, but I'm pretty sure there's lounges in Stanford and Norwalk. So we can always do that. But it's only if I come to Connecticut, it's only one condition. It's only one condition. If I come up to Connecticut, it's only one condition.
What's
I
that?
need I need that Dawn Delight.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, we could do that. We could definitely do that.
I need that
Man,
like. Listen, it's nothing better than their apple cinnamon donuts, man. I mean their apple crumb donuts, because it's like that fresh apple feeling inside.
it's
Oh
oh man, it's fresh, and even their coffee is great.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I just moved back from Florida, so I definitely that
yeah,
was like one of the spots I had to go to,
yeah.
man.
Right off the bat, listen.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm in CT and I'm in that area, I have to hit Dawn Delight.
Yeah, man, it's a staple for sure. It's a treasure.
Yeah. Have you ever been to what's Frankie's place called? Guardian Catering.
Oh hell, yeah. I grew up on Garden Cater, man. I was like
Yeah.
across the street from my house, man.
So
I used to get the high school home run. You know
yeah.
what that is?
So no. So I didn't eat a lot, but I played rugby with the owner's son. Well, Frankie's probably the owner now.
Mm.
So him and his brother probably run the show now.
Yeah,
Um.
they have so many locations. So
Yeah.
they usually,
But
it's just home run is they put chili and cheese on it, and
yeah.
they deep fry French fries and like
Oh
chicken nuggets.
yeah.
Crazy, man. What's
Yeah,
going
man.
on, man?
Yeah. The Guardian Catering, man, is a classic, a staple.
One thing I didn't notice until I moved to Florida and traveled a bit is the food around here is special, man. It's
Yeah.
I missed it. I missed it. So I don't take it for granted anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. I understand.
Pizza in Florida used to get me really upset, man. I gave up on it for a while.
Uh, Well, you know what? It's the water up here, man, and also too we're spoiled up here as far as when it comes to food and you know like down there like in Florida, if you want really good food, it's more Latin based.
Hmm.
You know,
Cuban food primarily
Cuban
too.
food, yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like and the diversity around here is crazy. You could get anything.
Exactly.
One of my, Ethiopian food is one of my
Uh,
favorites.
really?
Yeah, you can't get that. You can't get that over there.
Mm-hmm. So no, sorry, he's Somalian. I always get him mixed up when people bring up Ethiopian food. I always get him mixed up with the chef from Somalia. That I think he owns the Red Rooster in Harlem on 125th Street.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've seen
yeah,
his videos, man. He's on Food Network and everything.
yeah,
What's up, Eric?
yeah. And it's and the food prices aren't bad.
How is it?
I haven't been there, but I was going to go there. I was gonna take my best friend there, and I looked at the menu and the price. It wasn't bad for a world class chef. I am smoking the Supreme Leaf by Agranosa.
And I got the Drew Estate Underground 10 over here. What about you guys? What are you guys smoking?
Yeah, what do you guys smoking? You listen. That basement Assange is something else. Even though I'm cut off from the basement. Even though I'm cut off from the basement, you know. Like here's the thing, like Sanj loves his supporters, and he loves making people happy. And I'm really happy that you got to get some of the stuff from the basement. You know, that stuff right there is special. I've smoked a few. I smoked a few cigars that Signs gave me. I got actually have one in my locker right now, and I told Sean I'm saving that one for Christmas, and I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna get to the shop around maybe 11, and once he gets there, me and him are gonna sit there and have that cigar together.
Man, Sanj is like so I haven't had much of his cigars. I had the red, and
Mhm.
I got a couple of them. Actually,
Yeah,
Roger Working Man Cigars sent
yeah,
me
yeah,
one, and I was like, I always like to have one,
yeah,
off camera,
yeah,
get a better feel of it.
yeah.
And I'm like editing, I'm like smoking it, and now when you like stop and you
Mhm.
look at the cigar, you're like, damn, bro, like because you never know, right?
Yeah,
Because a lot of times people might hype it, you just never know, right? There's
yeah.
loyalty there, so. But I'm excited to try the black. That's definitely on my list soon, man. It's
Hey, you know
incredible.
what? Like, if like I work in Manhattan, so for me to get to Stanford, it's nothing.
Well,
Because
I want to go out to the lounge, man. I gotta, I
yeah,
want to
yo,
definitely
yeah, man.
spot.
You got to, man.
You go out there every day, or like what?
Yeah,
You're
listen. I'm like I'm there pretty much every day. Me and Sanj pretty much talk. Me and Sanj talk every day. Or even on Sunday, we'll just he'll call me or I'll call him just to check on each other. Yo, Peter, what's going on, man? Listen, I'm like once again, I'm sorry about your Eagles. You know what's going down on Sunday. You know what time it is. You know what
it's not.
time it is.
Yeah, this is not an
Oh,
Eagles hat for everyone that thinks so. I'm a Giants fan, unfortunately. So I
sadly
gotta put
enough,
that out there. Yeah,
sadly enough.
I give up, man.
Hey, and 914 is like I always say, 914 is always in the house. Always in the house.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, and well, and now we got 914 in the house. We got 203 in the house.
That's right.
Represent,
203, man.
repping that.
203.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
So
cool people in this area, man.
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm so happy to be back. The cigars, there's a lot of good cigar spots here too, man. Like
Yeah,
that was super important. I mean, Peter's not that far from me. He's about an hour away or so. So
he's up in Hartford.
yeah,
What's interesting is like I went down to Miami, and I really really enjoyed being down there. Like the Miami to me, like if you're a cigar smoker, Miami is a place you have to hit, and
of course.
you got to hit at least once a year.
To visit.
To visit, yes,
Yeah.
to visit, yeah. So,
Living there is
uh,
a different thing,
nah,
man. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Nobody really lives in like everybody thinks everybody lives near South Beach or go. It's like me with Times Square. I don't go to like the second I'm off work, I am running
Yep.
to Penn Station, or I'm out to or I'm out. I'm off if I'm going to see my mom. I'm off to Grand Central. Like nobody unless it's a weekend. That's the only time I like if I'm off of work and it's on a weekend, and I'm like, and then I'll look around and actually like look at the city, like man, like this is where I live at.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
funny. Anytime anyone visits from anywhere in the world or in the country, the first
Mhm.
place they want to go is the city, and that's been
Yeah,
our background. Like it's
yeah,
our backyard. So for
exactly.
me, I'm like it's a 40-minute train, and
Mhm.
honestly, like I do not go there. I don't.
Yeah,
It's just because I'm so used to it being there. But it's special, man. It's definitely a
yeah.
special spot.
It really is, man, and you know, you really get to you know, like I always say that I can't live like 2 hours outside the city. I have to be within an hour and a half of the city.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because of the chaos that is with that toxic energy that comes with New York City, but
Yeah.
I need it. I need it.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
It's same here. I could never. And funny enough, now a lot of New Yorkers and people from New Jersey are moving to Connecticut because
yeah,
one, it's way cheaper. So like it's like the middle class like is really just buying up the home. So people get upset because
yeah,
when I sold my house to move to Florida
yeah,
and sold it to New Yorkers, pretty
yeah,
much anyone you ask, they are selling to New Yorkers.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Roger, I lived in Jupiter, which it's a cool
Mm.
spot, man. It's like paradise out there. I think Michael Jordan has a house there. Tiger Woods had a house there. I don't, not in
Wow.
my neighborhood, but
Yeah, but
it was paradise and it was cool. But I don't know, no diversity. The food is whack. People are not friendly. People
wow.
call us Yankees out there, man. They don't
Yeah.
like us. So
It's very interesting when you talk about Connecticut because like I always because when I think of Connecticut, I always think of like old money.
yeah, nah,
It's
yeah,
especially when you think of like Cobb, old
yeah.
Greenwich, and um upper Stanford,
Mhm.
and then once you get past it's some areas in Connecticut that's
It's
pricey,
heavy. Yeah, it's
heavy,
pricey and
super
yeah,
heavy,
yeah.
super
Yeah, so,
heavy,
I mean,
like
even us,
Fairfield, yeah,
2 years in the matter of 2 years, we were outpriced from I was living in, Norwalk, which is 10
yeah,
minutes from Stanford.
yeah, oh yeah,
Outpriced, man, I can't live there anymore, so we
yeah,
moved out a little further, and, that's what's happening now, everyone's moving further, but, yeah, I think everyone always thinks that Connecticut is like, the stale state, but the diversity is
nah,
real out here, man. All
yeah,
my friends, from all over, like, that was another thing to move back because I thought about my kids, and I'm like,
yeah,
man, my kids are gonna be like the minority. Like I want them
yeah,
to be around different cultures, like
hmm
um, I wanted that for them. So moving back has been really cool.
like if I could afford to move back to New Rochelle, I think I would if I can afford it. But New Rochelle is super pricey now, and they're building up all those high rises there now. So it's like the city just pretty much just price you out.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, but but I think these people want me to ask you questions. So my first question for you is what made you want to start a cigar channel as far as reviewing?
Oh man. Well, first it's the reviewing part. I don't necessarily feel qualified for it. I do my best,
Hmm.
but um, what made me want to start a channel? So years ago, I consume YouTube nonstop.
Hmm.
I don't watch
Yep.
cable. I've been watching cigar content for years, man. I started with TNT
Yeah.
cigars. Only the
Yep. So
OGs
yeah.
know the TNT, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I just fell in love with it during COVID. Obviously being locked in the house, I just smoked all the cigars, and I couldn't get more, and fell in love with it. And I wanted to share with people because I think
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of friends that smoke cigars, and a lot of them don't. They don't really get it, or they try it once and they have a bad cigar.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was mostly just to share that, and it's
Yeah.
also a time to it's made me a better person. I like I can reflect. So that's really what it is. Like cigar size
Hmm.
chats is a so fireside chats was president used to do that where he would just go on
Yeah.
during the Great Depression and he would talk
Yeah.
to the nation, and that was the idea behind it. Just like me ranting at a camera. If something came of it, then I would post it. But
Yeah.
it's taken off way faster than I thought. Like that's why this is my garage, and it
Yeah.
was going to be temporary. But I
No, but,
can't. It's
your
it's
setup is
exciting.
setup is fire. The lighting is really good. It's a really good setup, especially for podcasting. Is folks is well just for videos and recording. It's like perfect for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
I have a background with like media creation. Like I do
okay,
photography on the side.
nice.
Um, and I've been involved in church, so I did a lot of
Yeah,
like media production for my
yeah,
church for years. So I just put that knowledge together, and I was like, hey, at least I want to put out like high quality content, right?
yeah,
And then gain that experience. So I'm definitely not the most experienced reviewer. Like
yeah,
I can't pinpoint, if I'm getting, Snickers bar from a cigar
Yeah,
necessarily. And my goal too is never to really like, I don't want to say like I want to give my opinions on a cigar and figure out who I think it's for. That's what I always
yeah.
say. Because like one, I have no loyalty to cigar companies,
You
right?
can't. You can't.
I
You
have
can't.
loyalty to the viewers. So um,
Exactly.
I just want to be honest and might as well talk about something. And a big influences for that was do you know who Dry Creek Wrangler School is?
No, I never heard of him.
Oh man, he's a like wealth of knowledge. He's always smoking a cigar or a pipe on his videos. And he's just this old man telling stories. Super, super cool dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's huge. Like he's got millions of subscribers. But
Wow.
um, I thought that was a cool, try to make my own thing and see where that goes. But it's really for fun.
Yeah.
If it ever gets monotonous, obviously I'll just stop. It's just
Yeah.
my yeah. See, his name is Dwayne. He's
Yeah.
I'll send you his stuff on the side.
Yeah.
He's really, really
Yeah,
cool dude.
man. Yeah. I would love to take a look at it. So like when you think about well, at least when I think about photography, like I always think of like people that come from an art background, and then from art they go into photography, because I feel like it's almost like one of the same, as far as like it's you're able to see stuff, and artists are very, very minute, as far as detail, finding the right lighting, finding that right shot, and I feel like artists are kind of like the same way, where it's like, all right, well, this has to be shaded a certain way. So did you draw growing up before photography?
Honestly, no. So I will say my brain, I always like to figure out how things work, right? So like
Okay.
with as a kid I used to take apart family radio, put it back together for fun.
Yeah. Nice.
And I'm and professionally that's what I've done. I do IT. Um,
Okay.
and I always like to, go like kind of. I wasn't good at drawing when I was a
Yeah.
kid. I thought I wanted to be a mechanic, and then I realized I didn't like getting my hands all dirty. Um,
Mm,
and I was actually going to go into the army. I had taken my ASVAB, I had everything, and I was going to be a tank mechanic. That was like my,
nice.
you take that test, and they
Yeah.
kind of tell you. So I've always been like intrigued on how things work. And always been super, I've always been creative, but I haven't had like one thing. Like I'll just pick
Mm.
up things, and I'm a huge like YouTube University kind of person, right? So
Yeah.
everything I know is I've learned on my own. I was always terrible at school. I can't do the whole classroom thing. I just have to kind of take my own path.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when it comes to like everybody learns differently. Like I'm the same way. Like if I watch a video on it, like I can pick it up. But it's the same thing. Like for me, I do most of my books now through audiobook.
Yep. Same.
So when I do my audiobooks, I love like sci-fi books. So I'm able to picture the whole scene, the room, the people. And with the audiobooks, I can actually, I don't have to focus on reading the next line. I can actually use my imagination to kind of, oh well, they're in a room. Okay, what's the room gonna look like? Okay. Oh, okay, now I understand the interaction, So and that really helps me get through a lot of books. And on my Audible app, I have like over 100 books. And the problem there is, me and you had the same I'm always on YouTube,
Yeah.
all 24/7 on YouTube.
My nightstand has a holder for my iPad, and I'll literally
Yeah.
be laying, like before. That's how I fall
Yeah.
asleep. I've been doing that.
Yeah.
My wife thought when we first got married, she was like, "Hey, what is he doing?" And she
Yeah.
turned around, and sometimes YouTube will just take you places, and you're watching a guy build a
Exactly.
hut.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's it
curiosity just takes over.
it's very interesting, because like I was talking about doing what, like hunting wild boar.
Mm,
Next thing you know, in my feed, I
yep.
have people hunting wild boar, and I'm like, oh my god, they're tracking me. But I'm like, I started watching it, I started getting into it. But now, like when I'm at work, I got premium. So the best thing about like is having YouTube Premium, because you can always turn your phone off.
Yep.
You pick the segment, you pick the people you want to watch. I'll pick my segments for Rich Eisman. What's why when I'm here from Stephen A. And and it gets me through my work day, and then I'll bounce back and forth from YouTube to my
Yep.
audiobooks.
Premium is a must have. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what I've had, and it's funny because I have to jump back in my like personal account. So a
yeah.
lot of times, like I go on Roger's channel and I'm commenting, and I'm like, oh crap, I have to
You're
delete
right
it.
about that, Roger.
You know, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, the algorithm is crazy, man.
it
Like
really is.
it'll just suck you up and take you places, and you're like, how did I end up here? But
Exactly.
it's cool. You meet a lot of like lately. I've been doing this channel for 2 months and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I've met some really cool people, found out about some really cool, channels, creators, and that was another reason for me to do it. It's just finding other people that enjoyed it as much as I do.
Yeah. Hey, you found us. You found the Legion.
Exactly. And that, man, that's been such a cool group. I'm so glad that I'm a part of it. I
Yeah,
actually
man.
have
Like,
a I watched Tony's video and he was
mm,
like, he's always trashing Cubans.
yeah,
I'm like, oh
yeah,
man, I wish I could have a Cuban. He's like, send me your address. I'm like, so
yeah.
There's a Cuban in there, I'm pretty sure, but it's just like
To- Tony is one
crazy.
of the nicest people, and he treats everybody like family. Like, Tony is one of the best people that I know. Tony really is. Like, he's really one of the best people I know, and it's not easy being the fearless leader
Yeah.
of the Legion. So hold
And
on,
he's
let
been
me.
doing it, man. I look back, he's been doing it for years, man.
Yeah,
Like I look back at his channel the other day, he's been doing it for like 5 years. I'm like, I've been doing this for 2 months, and I'm like, this is
yeah,
hard work, on
it is.
top of your, your normal job and everything else. But
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. So I respect all those guys, and made really cool friendships. I pretty much talked to like Roger from
yeah,
Working Man Cigars daily,
yeah,
just because he's such a cool guy. Would have never met him had it not been for this avenue. So
yeah. Well, it's pretty funny. Like you like I'm pretty sure you like you see me, like if you watch any of the Sanj like Rob's live streams, you see me, Rob, and so like I was going to Sanj's shop for like 2 years and never met Rob. I would hear
that's
about him,
crazy.
and then one day he walks in and he goes, "Yo, Rob." I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "Are you the YouTuber?" So I smoke. He goes, "Yeah." And I gave him a cigar. We started chatting it up. But then it was one day where it was just me and him in the shop, and we started talking music. And then that's where kind of like our
You
friendship
connected.
really connected.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, for two
But
years though, man. Like you guys were just going different times, or
different times, yeah, different
yeah,
times. Because before, me and Rick would go on Saturdays. That was our every Saturday at 11:30. We'd be at Sanjay's. That was our routine.
yeah. Should
And
I smoke this? Also an OG, man. I remember watching
yeah,
him years ago,
yeah.
so he's been doing it for a while too. So props to him.
You know, I think, and one thing is, like having people like you, yourself, and other reviewers on it. Like when people agree to come on my podcast, I'm like, really? I'm still always like surprised that people are willing to come on, talk, chop it up, and just have good conversation, because so my podcast is cigar based, but I also want to be able, anybody who has a story about anything,
Yeah,
I want to be able to get their story out there. So like anybody that deals with whiskey, I want to bring them on, so this way people can learn more about whiskey. If people know more about, if people want to learn about like competitive grilling or just bow hunting, anything
mhm.
that people can really learn about, you know, and and right now I got you on, and honestly, I just want people to get your story, just of you, like, so like you spoke before about the church. So like, did you grow up? So you grew up in the church since you were a child?
Yeah, yeah. Grandmother been going for a while, but honestly, I went through my whole teenage phase, and it
Of course,
really,
yeah.
for me, I definitely, I think church saved my life. I genuinely mean that in the sense of, I was a very angry person, believe it or not,
Yeah.
and just, I was, I would get in trouble and
Mhm.
involved with the wrong crowds. I'm telling you, Connecticut is not as, there's some darker sides there, but,
Well,
um,
Stanford is not as nice as everybody like one side. Stanford, like Stanford's a humongous city,
yeah.
and so in every city you're gonna have your hood.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like,
So,
and then you have your gangs, and you got your friends, and,
mhm,
and you do dumb things as a kid, but for me, that really helped. I started playing the drums at church, so that was my avenue, so I play the
yeah,
drums as well, um,
yo,
and, that's
that's so crazy. One day I have to get Rob on. Rob plays the he's been playing the drums since since he could walk because his dad was a drummer. So me and him would sit and talk drummers for and he would teach me so much just about drummers and just
yeah.
stuff like pocket and you know
Yeah, that's my favorite, man. Aaron Spears just passed away, one of the most
yeah,
legendary
yeah,
drummers, man.
yeah,
Crazy, crazy. But yeah, that's like what kept me out of trouble. I was practicing, playing all the time, going around different churches and playing,
yeah,
um, and that's how I met my wife. I met my wife in the church, and she became my
yeah.
best friend, and we've been married 8 years now, and it's pretty crazy. But
You know, like but so like who so when it comes to drumming, like who are your inspirations as far as like man like that guy is so nice, he's so talented. I want to get to that level, of
oh
drumming.
man, well, first of all, I like I say that I retired from drums. I don't have a drum set. I play at church when they need me, which is like,
Yeah,
I played a couple weeks ago, but it
yeah.
had been years. It's just life is busy, and with
Mm-hmm.
kids and work. Um, but so I honestly, like, I would never say I'm a good drummer. But
Okay.
Aaron Spears is, in my opinion, one of the most legendary drummers. He did I'm trying to remember the name of his song, but, and when I was in high school, middle school, so like
Yeah,
Travis Barker was like the
yeah.
coolest guy, you know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, those guys, man. But, uh, I that's the thing. Like, I'll pick up hobbies, learn them, and then just move on, and,
Yeah.
um, so I can't say. I'm sure, like, I want to hear stories from your friend there, but for me,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
retired.
so like so Rob was actually he was actually a part of a band and he toured. So like so he would always talk about the songs that he would cover,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
and he would always talk about like who's very hard to imitate and who's and he'll go, well, they're basic. He goes, they're
Mm,
very basic, but they make it seem like it's hard. So so
yeah, that pocket play,
e-
where, like, everyone's like, I could
exactly,
do that. It's like, no, you can't, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like he speaks about Questlove.
Oh, Questlove, man. I love Questlove. He's
Yeah,
a legend. He even has his own kit. I actually was
yeah,
like, oh, I want to get, because I want my kids to grow up having, access to that. So I want to have a drum set for them when they're a little older. So I was looking at Questlove. He has his own
yeah,
kit. I was like, I might get
yeah.
that.
You know, um, for me, like, so I love I love like the battle of the bands from when it comes like the HBCUs.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I love that. Like
Throwback. Yep.
that right there just gets me like gets me going, like gets me jumping because for them to be able to create that music, you know, and everybody is just like they can take a song from the radio and they're able to transition it
Hmm.
into like you're like man like how they go up and get that but most like because nowadays everything is done by computer, everything is not done like back in
Yep.
the day with live instruments and live guitarists that are in the studio playing that for you. This morning I was listening to Otis Redding.
Oh man,
let me
Otis
tell you
Redding's a
let me tell you something. Otis Redding is one of those guys when you hear his music, everything everything feels like you're listening to like something from a movie. It's the craziest thing. Or all of his songs that he sings can be used in a movie. It's his voice and his band was so amazing.
Yep. Yeah, like
Yeah.
another, I love listening to classic, like old school blues, man. Like
Yeah.
I'll just look at Spotify, put like like classic blues,
Yeah.
and just there's nothing like it anymore, really. It's just
Yeah.
like the like my brother. So my whole family is filled with musicians. So I have a brother in high school, and he's an incredible musician. He plays every instrument. He's always learning,
Wow. Yeah.
but he's, I told him, like, no matter what, like, because back then musicians were made by their surrounding influence, but now the internet has broken that. So it's really
Yeah.
hard to be like, if you like, I went to Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and you go, and there's like bars, and every
Yeah.
bar has 3 floors, and there's a band on each floor. And I mean, these guys
Wow.
are incredible, but there's just not. I don't know what it is, man. It's not the same. It's so hard too,
Well, I think the one thing is that not everybody is meant to be on a label or get that big break. Some people are just meant to be local bands, and and it becomes just a pat. They do it because they love it, not to get rich anymore. Because it's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
that window kind of closed. Because what
Yeah,
happened, you know, like when that window closed, it's like, all right, well, I can do this 3 times a week. I can do this 3 times a week and make a little money on the side. But I have a family, I have a full-time job, so it's like, we'll just become a cover band.
yeah. Yeah, and that's like, I have a cousin that does that. He plays, a church on Sunday as a musician. He gets paid
Yeah,
there, and then throughout the week he's playing different bars and
yeah,
stuff. They hire him, and the sad part is, people that still hold on to that. Like I when I was young, I was, one of my first jobs was security guard, and
hmm
there was one guy there, man. He was in his 50s, and man, he would spend almost all his paycheck on like on recording time, and it used to break my
yeah,
heart because I'm like,
yeah,
bro, like, save your
yeah,
money, man.
yeah,
Buy cigars. But I mean,
yeah,
again, everyone everyone has their own thing, man. And I think it's a creative outlet. Um, for me, it's making, talking to a camera. I'm really
yeah.
introverted in real life. Like, I'm also like, and everyone always says I'm intimidating, because
hmm
I'm 6'4". You can't really tell, but
Wow.
I'm like a huge dude. And so I'm pretty like reserved. And so even when I go to the lounge, sometimes it's hard for me to like, kick it with someone and like,
Yeah,
start a conversation. But talking to a camera and then connecting with people online, as for me, I find it much easier, and I get to meet really cool people that way too.
yeah. Yeah. Well, like, I think that's the best thing about it is like you meet people who live in whole different countries, states. I don't know if you've been in the tribal with James and Jeff yet.
No, I got to get on Tribal, man. I've been
Yeah,
so busy. I got to get on
yeah.
there.
Like, so if you get on like did like I called it. I hit it's normally Val, James, and Jeff, and I call them the AARP crew because they're on at like 8 a.m. because James are in Germany.
Mm,
So and then
time.
James still works, but like James still works, but Jeff's retired, so they'll be online at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. our time, and then they'll
That's what
get
I
back.
want to do,
Yeah, and then they get back on around 2 o'clock.
man. That sounds like my
So
kind of retirement, man.
yeah, man.
That
Listen,
sounds like the good life.
yeah, like they sit back and those guys are like peas in the pot, man. They're like best friends.
Yep.
So it's those connections.
How long have you been on in the Legion?
For about for about 2 years now. So I've been I've been on probation for the last 2 years. Yeah, so I'm on.
I know. I'm like, I don't see you on there, man. You're like, no, I
no,
don't see you're connected.
I hop on from time to time, but like normally if I'm on, I'm normally talking shit to Quakes, but yeah, so like normally like on a Monday the Wednesday and Saturday during the lives I'll normally hop on.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
but
I gotta.
like I originally met Martine,
Hmm.
and it took Martine 6 months. I had to ask him for like 6 months to let me in, and then he finally decided to let me in. And
Man,
ever since then, man, it's been great. Like like if honestly, if it wasn't for Tony, I wouldn't have my channel.
wow,
Um,
that's awesome, man.
because me and Rick had a channel before, and so we had a channel before, and like timing wasn't working out, so we stopped doing it, and so so one day Tony's like, yo, we're doing it now. I'm like, really? He's like, yes, right now. And I hit the
Hmm.
button, and I was like, all right, like it's gonna be called Big Guilty Cigar Podcast, because my son on PlayStation is called Big Guilty, so I stole his
Yeah.
name, and I was like, all right, we're gonna run with that. So
Damn, I love that, man.
yeah, so
I love that.
but for me, like like I don't um like everybody's palate is different,
Hmm.
so uh I don't like reviewing cigars. You
Yeah.
and I'll like and the only reason is too is just like like what I get out of the cigar, you're going to get something totally different, or you might get something stronger
Yeah.
that I might get lighter.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's a good point. I mean, for me, that was a hesitation too, like,
Yeah,
because, but the way I look at it for my, my videos, I want to do it more as like a journal entry, right?
exactly.
But like I definitely what I really admire about Tony
Yeah,
and Eric and all those
yeah,
guys. Honest
yeah,
man, if they don't like a cigar, they don't go easy on it,
yeah,
and they never say don't buy the cigar.
yeah.
Right? They'll tell
They
you, hey,
just say,
this is probably not worth the money, or
yeah,
it's up to you, right? But that's like my goal. Like I don't want to tell someone buy this or don't buy this. I just want to share my experience, and then in between is like tell a story or whatever's on my mind. That's really the concept for
yeah,
my channel. I'm still like working through it.
yeah,
I made that short that kind of got my channel to kind of really grow.
yeah,
I don't know if you saw it, but I took Arnold's voice. So I got that idea from Pick Jimmy, and I
yeah,
messaged him because he was talking about like there's some, I don't remember the guy's podcast, but they just took like a Cigar Aficionado had made a clip with Arnold
yeah,
Schwarzenegger talking about how he had tequila to his cigar,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they got millions of views, and that
Destroyed
was
that cigar.
yeah, yeah. And then they just, what they did too is they kind of just copied the content and posted it
Yeah,
on their channel.
yeah,
And like DJ was like, "Hey, like there's nothing creative about that. I think that's
hmm,
wrong."
yeah,
So in my head, that kind of got, and at that time I was thinking about starting a channel.
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take the audio and do something creative with it. And you know, it has 300,000 views on it,
Wow,
um,
that's crazy.
and I wake up to a lot of hate comments, because
Yeah,
it pushes it out to people that aren't into cigars, and
yeah,
so it's I kind of like, I hate, that's my least favorite video that I've ever made, but it's helped the channel because some people get it, it's for entertainment, like, and I
exactly.
did it
That's
I
it.
did it with I did it with like a Mi Querida cigar too, so like
Yeah.
people were pissed, man. They're like, how dare you, it's like it's
You know, I'll say this: some people are miserable.
yeah.
Like that's how you look at it. You know, you know, some people are miserable, and some people just want to be haters because they see the success you're getting, and they're like, oh well, like he cheated, or or you know, like I just want to go and fuck up his day by leaving a nasty comment. Because you know
Yes.
what? Because and honestly, like think about like no matter what, you're always gonna see, like, you can get a million nice comments, but you're always gonna remember the nasty ones.
Yep,
You know,
that's
you're
true.
always you're always gonna see the ones that are negative, and people that are just haters. But you know what? Like, if you don't got haters, you're not doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah, and like for me
So
at first I was like, "Oh man, I should just delete this short." But then I was like, "Hey,
yeah,
it's pushing my content out, and if the right
that's
people
it.
find it, that's all
That,
I
that
care
that
about." And
that's what you want, man.
so
You
I,
know,
and a lot of it's like, "Hey, cool way to get cancer," and some like really dumb things. And
yeah,
but it's just funny, honestly. Like what I started doing, like when they catch me, like
yeah,
most days I just ignore it, but some days I'm like, I'll respond, and I'll respond with positivity, right? Because I think that pisses people off even more.
yeah,
Uh, and I've never had someone respond to my response
yeah.
because that they don't expect someone to write back. I
Back,
think
yeah. Well,
so it's
they
fun.
like they go, they throw these stones, and then they run away. You
Yeah, my
know,
wife is in the chat.
hey, what's up, wifey? How you doing? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
she's a huge supporter for letting me
listen,
do this in the basement. So
support support is everything, man. And the fact that you know, like the fact that she's behind you and that she supported you is the biggest thing. Because you know what? Because she knows this makes you happy,
yeah.
and the fact that she's like, "Yo, go for it, man, and enjoy yourself." You know,
Yeah, it's a like she's like, "You're such an old man, you like cigars and that's cool." Like, I'm like, "Hey, I'm just hanging out." And so
yes. See, oh, you know the way to my heart.
yeah, yeah, she loves
Nice.
baking, so it works out.
Oh, yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
But
but
yeah,
I
like,
definitely want to go out to Jersey, man, and hang
yo,
out one day.
listen, man, listen. You come out to Jersey. You like, listen. If you come out to Jersey, you can treat like family. Like anybody that
Yeah,
comes to the shop, that they're like, oh well, like I found out about you guys through online. You get the red carpet, you know, because also too, it's like Sanj knows that you took your time to drive from wherever you're at just to come to his shop.
yep. I mean, I saw
Not
what he was doing for the veterans and first
yeah,
responders. I'm like, man, I respect
yeah.
that so
Well,
much. It's like,
he
you know,
he always does that. The one thing Sanj is always about is first responders and people who sacrifice their lives for other people. Because like you kind of know going in when you're police, military, fire department,
yep,
EMT, it's not the easiest life choice to make. Like you have to see a whole lot of fucked up shit.
yep.
So, just to be able to tell those people thank you you know, is one thing that I really love about Sanj.
Yeah, man. I've actually one show I watched recently that I want to rewatch is have you ever watched Band of Brothers?
I heard of it. I never watched it, but I heard of it.
Man, have you ever watched Saving Private Ryan?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's that good, but it's a 10-part series, and it's
Wow.
about paratroopers in the
Yeah.
military. And after watching that, I'm like, man, like they don't make men like that anymore. I'm like here
Well,
talking to a camera reviewing Cigar, and these guys are jumping off planes in D-Day, which is crazy, in the war
you
zone.
know,
But
one of my favorite, like to me, next to the Super Bowl, the biggest football game to me is Army versus Navy because it's these young kids. They know that they can't go to the NFL.
yep,
When you sign up for any of the branches for the Air Force, Army, or Navy, you're not allowed to go to NFL. Like you have to serve your 4 years.
wow,
So those kids, they know no matter how many yards I rush for, no matter if I get Heisman nominated, it doesn't matter. I can't go
and they did that willingly. That's
willingly.
that's crazy.
So and for those kids to really go and sacrifice that, and the president is there. The president is there, and he speaks to both teams and the uniforms. Like so
Yeah,
last year on Twitter. Actually, no, a few weeks ago, Air Force Air Force comes out with uniforms every year dedicated because they're not a part of the big game. they play Army Navy, but it's not as big as the Army Navy game because back in I believe the 40s and 50s, all the good athletes went to Army Navy.
Hmm.
So that's why it was such a big game because when you got drafted, like Joe Unitas, I believe he was Navy. He went to the Navy. He did his I believe 4 years, and then he went to the Colts.
Wow.
So so that game was the biggest
It's
game going.
intense.
It was
Yeah.
exactly. So and the tradition just carried on, and the uniforms just make it better every year. So they were saying that Air Force uniforms were they were like, oh, they're not appropriate and this and that. And we're like, yo, who are you? Like like that's one that like people on Twitter feel like they have more power than they do, and I really feel like it really destroyed uh everything when it comes to pop culture and when it comes to movies, because you have a small minority of people, dictating everything.
Complaining. Yeah. Well, it's
Complain
just
it's
complaining. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'm happy that Disney is finally getting the wake up call, because at the end of the day, people are just turned off because you don't want to go to a movie and hear about politics. You want to go to a movie
No.
to hear,
It's an
like, you just
escape,
want
man.
exactly. You just want to go to escape. That's why a movie like Top Gun Maverick did so well, or John Wick do well, because there's no politics in it. It's straight action, and you're like, oh man, like I haven't seen a movie like this in years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to get
And
take you away from everything instead of being bombarded. And it
mhm,
it's funny now with kids. I'm like seeing that even the content that they watch, I gotta you kind of gotta
yeah,
like check it because I'm like, yo, I don't want my 2 year old doesn't need to know about these political things or
mhm,
like whatever agenda it is, right? So it's like
yeah,
we're very careful about that because it's like,
yeah,
man, these kids don't need to worry about this. I want my kid to be a kid and
exactly.
enjoy being outside and so, yeah, it's always how's your cigar going, by the way?
It's going good, man. It's going real good.
Man,
Yeah,
this the Drew Estate, like the amount of smoke this thing that it does, I always
well,
forget that. It's like a chimney, man. It doesn't like
well,
it's a Drew Estate
well,
thing, I feel like.
well, honestly, it is a Drew Estate thing. Just because the amount of mineral oil that Drew Estate puts on the cigars, you know, like I would like when I first started smoking cigars, I was the biggest Drew Estate fan.
Mm,
When I first started smoking cigars, I thought because at the end, like, it was advertised everywhere.
yeah.
It was advertised everywhere, and the price point wasn't bad.
What was your
And so,
favorite? What was your go-to?
um, my go to was always an Undercrown.
Mm,
I like the Undercrown, but you know, the more you get into cigars, the more your palate expands. So you know, and now from each brand, I like one or two cigars
yeah.
from every brand, because one of them, I always say one. I go, certain people could dump on whatever cigar brand they want, but I'm like, like, there's one or two that you're gonna like. I used to but also too, not realizing that certain cigars are entry level cigars. So stuff like Camacho,
Yep.
I was a big Camacho fan, and but even and I still like I still like their new one is really really good.
The broadleaf?
The broadleaf is really good.
Yeah.
It
That
was
was
it was
yeah, so
it
good.
was it was surprisingly really really good. The broadleaf was really really good. The new foundation stuff is really good. I really enjoy the new Charter Oaks.
Oh man, Charter Maduro is my favorite cigar. It's the first cigar I've ever bought a box of.
Wow.
So I have plenty of those. I just they're just reliable, you know. Um,
So the one thing about that is, so like my favorite of the Charter Oak is the Lonsdale Maduro. The Lonsdale Maduro to me is fire
I gotta
because
try
it
that.
has such a nice chocolate note to it,
Mm,
and you get and
yeah.
it's like chocolate syrup on every pull.
So I gotta get the Lonsdale because so I bought this box in the summertime, and I
Hmm.
was getting Gordos back then just because I wanted
Yeah.
long, smoke time. Wanted
Hmm.
to be out there for a long time. But my favorite size is Lonsdale. I think it's like the perfect medium. So I got to give that a
Yeah.
try. Um,
When you try that, when you're gonna be like, wow,
yeah,
it's better than the Toro. It's better than the Gordo. You know, like I kind of like um just from learning and experiencing stuff, I kind of stay away from the bigger ring gauges.
hmm
So now, like for me, like the biggest I like to go to is maybe a 58. After
you
that,
know,
I kind of, you know,
it's
like
funny
a
you say that because like after starting this channel and like having more cigars and really trying different sizes and because I'm before I would just look for
yeah,
I personally I used to like Gordos, so 60
yeah,
ring gauge,
yeah,
but now I'm realizing like no, I haven't bought any Gordos since I started smoking more cigars in different sizes, and I'm really liking like a 50 is like a solid medium
yeah,
for it, but
yes. It's well
um
because you're getting less filler with that.
yeah, it's well
You know,
balanced, I guess
it's
that's what it is, right?
exactly.
Um,
If you guys have any questions, for Cigar Side or myself, just feel free to ask them in the chat. You know, we'll answer your questions the best way we could. This way you guys can feel a part of the show. Instead of
Absolutely.
just talking in the comments. We love to answer you guys questions also. But um, I think one benefit that I have of being in the shop is there's so many cigars I can try.
Yeah, man.
So I can try everything at least once. So I go, all right, you know what? I'll just go and just buy 5 random cigars and just go boom, 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 get a 5. Okay, the next 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna smoke these, you know, and then I'll pick up another 5. All right, I'm gonna smoke these.
Do
And
you journal them at all? Like, how do you kind of?
nah,
Because man, I've forgotten so many cigars I've smoked prior to the channel, and now I use the channel as kind of
you
my
know,
journal.
I think the one thing with me is if I like it, I like it,
Mhm.
and I can remember that, and I can remember it's like, nah, I wasn't feeling that one at all.
Okay.
But then there's some you always want to go back to just to make sure that you were correct on what you felt about that cigar. Because
Yeah, because
oh, go ahead, sorry.
environment. No, no, no.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like environment matters. I've had
Mhm.
cigars, by a fireside talking to a friend. And then I go to have that cigar again, and I'm like, this is not the same cigar, but it's really like the headspace you're in. And Roger actually made a
Exactly.
good video about that, but it's so true, man.
Well, it's headspace. It's the time you have, because sometimes you don't have time to really get into the notes. So sometimes you're just smoking just to smoke, and then sometimes you're able to take your time and really get that puff and retrohale it and go, oh, I'm getting this, and this from it.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, especially when you're having a conversation, it's kind of hard to really get into that cigar.
Yeah, you'll be like, I like this, I don't, but you're not really focused on like the flavors and um, I don't. I something I've learned is reviewing cigars and in a sense of like sitting down and or picking up notes on a cigar. I guess I could say is a lot different than just smoking a cigar. Because if I was just sitting in my backyard on my phone or whatever,
Yeah.
and I was just smoking a cigar, you're not really paying attention. But when you're intentionally sitting there and like thinking, what am I getting? What is this, right? And
Hmm.
um, I love that, man.
Hmm.
I really
Well,
enjoy
like so far, like the more I smoke this, the more pepper I'm getting from it. Like so, it's just getting spicier and spicier as I smoke it.
Have you had that before?
My first time having it.
Okay, because I got one in my humidor. I've been waiting, man. That because honestly, like the band got me. I was just like, man, that's a beautiful looking cigar, and you know, it's got a reputation. So I was like, I got to get at
Yeah.
least one. But
You know what? I actually enjoy it. Like it has nice floral notes.
mm,
I'm a big guy into floral,
okay,
like floral sweeter notes. So like one of my favorites is the La Roma de la Cuba from is the Passion from La Roma de la
ooh,
Cuba. I like that one. Like one of my go-tos is always Sanj's his RS-88 Cameroon.
oh,
That
Roger just sent me one, man. I
yeah,
gotta try that.
that right there is like smoking sugar cane.
Oh, I gotta
I
try it, man.
I love it, you know, and that's one thing that I always look for, and always look for like, okay, like am I getting that espresso or am I just getting straight cedar?
Mhm.
If I'm getting straight cedar from a cigar, I'm actually really like fuck, like this is garbage.
Yeah,
Because because it
cedar
it
is everything, right? Like
yeah,
your humidor is cedar, and um, for me, I was just listening to Soy Sauce Assassins, well, the
yeah,
podcast. They were talking about flavor notes, and
yeah.
what they all did is he would mention he looked up a flavor wheel, asked each person like, how would you define this? And it's funny because even the definition for some of them, are different. Um, so like it's interesting to see like even the way they pinpoint like
Mhm.
cinnamon or like the
Yeah,
sweetness. How do you define it? And everyone is different. So
everybody's
that
different.
was a great podcast for sure.
So
And
oh no, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
no, yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
so
read the
my boy Yude from Hawaii, he has a question, and he wants to know, is the Charter Oak. He says what's your favorite value cigar? Charter Oak doesn't count.
Oh man, the charred oak doesn't count. Oh man. Uh, one that I recently had that I was like, this is solid is the Umbagog. I
Yeah, I like
fair
that one.
warning, man. I am a huge Dumbarton fan and
Yeah,
huge Foundation fan, so like it's hard for me not to be biased towards them. But the Umbagog is so good, man.
yeah.
And you get it, nothing fancy about them. I really enjoyed that cigar, so that would be my pick there.
You know,
What would you say?
I like so CLE has a cigar that's around $8, and it's it's a silver band on it, and it starts with a Z. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name because I'm gonna destroy it. But it's a silver band. It's a box press, and but that one to me is always one of my favorites.
What's the price? Do you remember like?
The price on that one is $8.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's solid, man. And Peter, so that's one thing I will say. Anytime Peter recommends a cigar, I trust his
See,
palate because he has
but
his tier
yeah,
system
here's the
and the
problem.
RS-88.
Here's the problem.
His budget.
No, it's not that. Is if I give Sanjay cigars any kind of credit, because I'm so tied to Sanj
Yeah,
that people will be like, so I always
you're
try
just
to give
saying that.
so I always try to give other brands credit because
Yeah,
you know, like to me, there's nothing better than a $7 Cameroon.
yeah.
Nothing better. Like I can smoke that every day with no hesitation. Like that and the Habano are are two of my go-tos. And if I'm at work, I really like the Maduro when I'm at work. But but the problem is like it's like, oh well people like, oh well, here goes Innocent again talking about Sandra Sticks,
Yeah.
you know, and and that's why I catch because like I say this all the time, man. Like I love Sans like my own dad, man. Anything he needs, anything he wants, I'm there
Yeah.
because I know he'll do it for me. So um, you
It's
know,
funny you say that because I was like, oh man, I want to have another. I was gonna have one of Sanjay's cigars today, but I'm like, it's just gonna seem like I'm trying too hard. But I genuinely like, I've only had one. I've had one,
mhm,
but because it's from the videos I've watched. Like I'm a huge fan of the new wave.
yeah,
Those guys, they're not lying. Like this is some real good stuff. So
yeah,
I'm excited to try the industry killers because I
yeah,
have the
man.
one, the
You
red.
know what? Like, and especially the industry killer for $6, you can't beat it. Like those are always be a go-to. I have 50 million, of course I have 50 million in my house, so um you know but yeah. Yeah, you're right,
All right,
you're
so
right about that.
Eric, what is a budget stick for
No,
you? Because Eric smokes, $600 cigars over here. So I'm curious to know his go-to budget stick if he even has any.
no, he doesn't. If anything, he's gonna say it's gonna be a lunatic. It's gonna be
That's
a
funny.
lunatic or an asylum. Well, but
Oh, that's funny.
and I don't have any.
There you go.
Yeah,
Some of us don't have that luxury. Okay. What
and
is
then and
your sorry, go ahead.
no, I will say this. Um, like the one thing I would say is um when if people don't like Sanjay stuff, I'm like, okay, well that's your opinion, like, but
It's all palette, yeah.
you may not like it, but you may like something and I don't like it. So everybody has different palettes, and everybody likes different types of smokes. So it's one of those things where um and people can call me fuck you, man. First of all, a Byron is not a fucking budget stick, even though that Byron hit different. That Byron hit different, but you
Man,
know, like but see, here's the thing is like for me, a budget stick for me is like $8 and under. But I do love I like and people would say I'm biased on this brand too. Casa Cuevas. Like so like I love Lewis as a person.
mhm,
Like I think Lewis is one of the nicest people and I want his brand to go to the moon.
right.
Like if I could put a Casa Cuevas cigar in everybody's hand, I would. Just so people can try it. But you know, um but then again it'll kind of be a biased take because I want their brand to do well. So
Of course, yeah. One thing I will say is I like, for example, when I first started smoking, everyone's like, for a budget stick, get the factory smokes. Man, I tried
yeah,
one and
no.
I was like, man, get the hell out of here with
Mhm.
this, man. I pulled a step, I was like a branch in my cigar. So I'm like, all right, long filler only,
Yeah,
and some people love that. Some people only smoke factory smokes. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah. Well, you
Um,
know what it is? It's a cheap smoke that you don't feel guilty about not finishing.
yeah. Yeah, you
So
could like toss it or whatever. And
exactly, because
um,
you smoke those when you're at work when you're doing something. It's the perfect cigar.
yeah, it was.
Yes.
I got one, and I was like, man, it was the worst smoking experience. I had to like redeem it because it was so
Yeah.
bad. But I don't like. I don't really whatever people like, they like. I don't like. I joke around about acids like
Hmm.
on the chat and stuff, but it's like, man, that's how I started. I
Yeah.
used to love the acid
Yeah.
toast and the sweet
Yeah.
cap, and obviously now I want like cigars that
It's
have
it
more flavor in them. But
it's pretty funny because Sanj sells a lot of of flavored cigars a lot. And and if a person's into a flavor, that's what they're into. That's like, because that's the only thing their girl can deal with is a flavored cigar, because a regular cigar is the cigar smoke is too harsh for. So they go, oh, all right, well, you can smoke this,
Yep.
and the girl doesn't mind it, because when you smoke a Tatiana, it reminds you of smoking a hookah.
Yeah. Or
So
like vaping, like I got friends that vape,
exactly,
and I'm like, they're like, "Oh, I want to try a cigar." I'm like, "Try a Cuba Cuba," because like I
yeah,
know they're looking for that, and obviously you got to
exactly,
get into it. Like my goal is
yeah,
to get people to try it. So
exactly,
you know, smoke everything except flavor
yeah.
cigars.
Yo, you're right about that, Ainge. You're right about that. You know, yeah, but
Yeah,
like that's you know, like, but you kind of want, because you want to hook them in, and you don't want to get. And the problem is that sometimes people get turned off because they'll have something too strong, and then from there they're turned off. But
man.
you want to be able to hook them, and
Yep.
then you go, nah, try this. And
Yeah.
then they're like, yo, this is not like the flavor. It's like, no, like this is an actual cigar. And they're like, yo, I actually enjoy this much more than the flavor.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Like for me, when I first started, I bought a Camacho Corojo. I
yeah,
almost quit. I almost gave up on cigars because it was such
wow,
a bad experience.
mm,
I also like I had like an empty stomach, so that was a newbie
yeah,
mistake too. But it was just so peppery, and it was just like, what is this? And then there's been two cigars that I can vividly remember that I'm like, this is not for me.
yeah,
The other one was in Oliva, Connecticut. Like
mm.
I think the I don't remember
I
which
think
one, but
that's has to be the G series.
yeah, I think
It's
so.
either
And I was
a
like,
G or a O.
I don't. So that's the thing. Like, if they're too mild, in my opinion, they resemble to me almost like cigarettes. Like, I just for
Yeah,
me, like the smell, there's like
yeah,
nothing to them, right?
yeah.
So I always lean towards darker cigars, more full
It's
flavored. But
have you smoked an AJ Cameroon yet?
I have not.
Oh my, get your hands on one of those. That's a
Okay,
really good smoke.
I actually
Uh,
have a
a
note on
new
my
yeah,
phone.
yeah,
I got a list,
yeah,
man. I just keep adding to the
yeah.
list, and every time I
A
could
new
pick one up,
a New World Cameroon is a really good cigar, and it's around $9 on, like, if you go online. If you go online, you can actually get it. You can actually get a box of 20 for like $80 of the New World Cameroon.
yeah, that's
So
and AJ comes. His stuff is incredible. So
yeah, so well, like, the thing with AJ is, when you smoke one of AJ stick, you know what you're getting already. You know you're getting pepper. You know you're kind of getting a pepper bomb.
yep.
So that's one thing when it comes to like AJ. It's like, all right, well, I know for a fact I'm gonna get something spicy, something peppery, and I'm actually kind of surprised with this Agrinosa on how peppery it is. Just because the other ones that I smoked didn't really have that much pepper to it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I gotta try more
yeah.
of their stuff. I haven't. I have that
no,
one in the
Agri
humidor.
no Agrinosa make they make pretty good sticks. Everything that I had from them I enjoyed so far. I haven't had one that I didn't like, even, but only had like maybe 4 or 5 of their cigars.
Okay.
So, and like Oliva, I love the V series. I'm not a big fan of the Milanios, but
Really?
I do like the V series. So like the 135, the regular V's,
Wow.
I can hit those all day.
So I've had the Milano. This was years ago, but I had the regular and the Milano. I like the Milano better. And actually, Peter sent one at the
Yeah.
25th anniversary, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try that, man.
Mm.
Um, But I mean, even that, like, I used to not keep many cigars. I try to, but starting this now, man, I have, met really cool people
Bolos.
that
Yeah.
support it, and but also finding out about more, right? Like now that I have a whole backlog of a list on my phone of cigars that I, want to
Yeah.
buy and I search for, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Like
Um,
like another like um one that I had maybe about 3 weeks ago, and I really enjoyed was the pork tenderloin by Tartaruate.
Oh yeah,
So
they. I love their stuff, man.
so the so the ones that I liked from them was the three that I like from them is the T110 that was limited. The T110 was good. The pork tenderloin was really good, and the fuck, what's the other one that I had the other day?
Have you had I think it's the T21. Is it the one with the foil? You know.
No, 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 no. I haven't had that one. I had the T110.
Okay.
That's a little guy. It's a little
Okay.
guy, but it got a nice punch to it.
So you like kind of peppery. You like kind of peppery cigars, or
Not
just depends on the mood.
Nah, for me myself, I prefer a like a sweet retro hill.
Hmm.
So that's why I always say I like the Cameroon, because the Cameroon on that retro, you really get that real nice sweetness on it. Um, and I get that also of course with the Passion. I used to get that with the CLE Select. The CLE Select, was one of my favorite cigars, and smoking it recently, I'm not getting that same sweetness that I got from it the first couple times that I smoked it. So
Okay.
and in and but I do, and it just popped into my head now. Crown Heads,
Oh, Crown Heads. They got some
you
good
know,
stuff.
they got some really good stuff. Crown Heads. They have one. It's in English. It means the pastry, but in it's called like the La Pedioso or something like that. Something in French. It means pastry in French. But that one right there, like I probably smoke that cigar at least 3 to 4 times a week. I always end up
Wow.
buying that one.
That's on a rotation.
It's in the heavy rotation.
Yeah.
You
How
know,
many cigars do you usually smoke a week on average? Because I mean, you're at the lounge every day. You got to have at least one, right? So,
so I'll have anywhere from 3 to 4 a day. If I'm at the lounge, if I'm at home, I'll have maybe two, and then if I'm at the shop, I'll go anywhere from 2 to 4.
wow.
But on the weekend, I can do maybe anywhere between 4 to 7,
Wow. Man. So,
because like you're around people and you just all day.
yeah.
So
Yeah, there's a lounge nearby. I want to ask you a question because
go
this
for it.
lounge has a new rule. So there's a lounge 10 minutes from my house, and
Yep.
there's a membership fee. You get a locker.
Yeah.
It's well priced, but they actually now want to charge a fee for people bringing in their own cigars to put in the lockers. So like, if I bring in, let's say I bring in one of Sandra's cigars and I want
Yeah.
to smoke it, even though I already paid for the membership, there's like a $5 cut fee, which I'm
Mm,
like, you know,
So my belief as a member, if you're a member at the shop, you shouldn't get a cut fee, because as a member, you're paying for that privilege. That's your home shop, so you should be able to bring in what you want and smoke what you want. But that, and of course, like you're still gonna buy their stuff.
right.
But as a member, like you should be able to bring in, you should be able to bring, at least I feel like you should be able to bring in what you want and smoke what you want. Because like if I'm not a member, and if I'm not a member, then it's something different. If I'm not a member, the first thing you should do is support them.
Right.
Buy something there and then smoke what you want, and it shouldn't be a cut fee for that, because you're pretty much already paying for that cut fee already.
Yeah, because they also have a rule. So I haven't signed up yet. But there's a rule that if you go there and you want to go into their lounge area, which I've
Mm-hmm.
never experienced this, but you have to buy two cigars at least to sit. which I'm like, in the other places I've been to, you buy a cigar, you go with,
Yeah, you're good. No,
but
that
this,
no,
so I'm like,
no,
they expanded. So I'm like, all right, you guys, you got to make a little
no,
money. I get it.
they're being money hungry, and I
Yeah,
and I
because
feel like that's a way to kind of turn off your clientele
yeah, it's turned
because
me off. That's why I haven't signed. I was ready to sign up, and then he like, because I had talked to him months prior, and then this was a new rule, and I was like, man, I don't know, man. This is kind of like,
no, that's no, that's number one. You're being greedy.
yeah,
Like you want your like at least if I had a cigar lounge, I want it to be a safe haven. I want to be where when you come in, you feel like you're there with family, and
right,
that's how I feel when you're with. Yeah, you write your age. You 150% correct. Like people like they're starving for money.
yep,
Like don't get me wrong. Like I understand. Like when I'm out outside of Sanjay's, I'm gonna pay, you know, $4 to $5 for maybe more for a cigar.
hmm
Just because you have to pay that $2 or $3 extra to the
right,
shop.
right,
So it's really one of those things where you want the environment so good that when the people come in, they don't mind paying that little bit of extra because they feel like they're home. Like
yeah.
I feel like, you know, hey, you know what? Listen, man. Like, but the strip club is different, man. Like,
You want
like
to like a strip club,
the strip club is different.
2 drink minimum.
Yeah. Listen, it's a little different, a little different. Like because you go up in there, you already gotta you should have a budget when you walk in on how much you're gonna spend.
That's
You
funny,
should
man.
you should you know like
Yeah, like, so the other thing too is they're only open till 7, and but the advantage of being a member is you essentially get like key, right? So
yeah,
like
the
I could
key
go
fob, yeah.
there 11 at night and open up the spot and turn on the TV and enjoy my cigars, which I'm like, that's great because they're right here. But I have my garage, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's getting a little. I need a
So
heater, but
so I think the one thing is Sanj offers that same and it's kind of hard because just because of the fact that you know like this is how the lounge I go like Sanj is that's my house.
right.
So like when you're a member you get 24-hour access,
Mhm.
and Sanj just closes at 9. So it closes at 9 and you're able to bring one guest, one or two guests with you. Don't
That's
don't
cool.
bring a don't bring a whole 5-6 people with you. 1 or 2 people are
Right.
fine. But like the one thing about the membership is like you want to treat that place like it's your house. Like after after I leave, clean up after yourself. Like that's not somewhere where you leave your cigars everywhere. You know, like you want it to be like your own little man cave just because of the fact that you're able to get away. And one thing about like there's no music playing. Like certain lounges are like there's 3 different lounges or 3 different
Like
types.
styles, environments, right?
Yeah, 3 different types of environments. You have the club. You have the club where the music is so loud. You can't hear yourself talk.
That's not my kind of lounge, man.
Yeah, and then you have a lounge where the TVs are going, they're loud, but you're still able to have conversation. And then like I consider my spot more of a tobaccoless lounge just because of the fact that the TVs they're never too loud. We could always have a conversation, and most of the time it's always like, all right, like all right, well, what are you smoking? And it's not too spread out to where it's like you can't go and have a conversation just about cigars. And that's the one thing that really attracted me to the spot that I go to. I have in my area, I have like 7 different lounges I can go to, but
Like that.
some are loud clubs,
Yeah.
and that's not the environment that I want to deal with.
Yeah, yeah. Because for me, I have little kids, so like
Yeah.
it's hard. This is usually when I'm smoking, right? So it's
Mhm.
9, 10 o'clock, if not later. So I was like, that really was like, getting access to it was great.
Yeah.
Um, but when they switched that up, I'm like, man, this is, I don't know. So
Yeah.
I got to think about that. But
Well, well. If you want me to ask, how much is the membership fee?
so that's the thing. I don't know if they changed that as well, but it was $600 a year
That's not bad.
originally.
That's
Yeah,
not bad.
that's because some places I know they charge like 1,000, 2,000,
Hmm.
depending where it is. But and you get like I think you get like 20% off cigars, which I'm like that's great off of the
Yeah.
the price they're selling it for, and you
Yeah.
get your locker. So
And those right there are great benefits. You know, um, like
there's
some places you go into, like if you bring a bottle in with you, you have to pay the corking fee. It's it's so different just in a way that um like at my lounge we're able to bring if you have a bottle, you can bring it in. There's no corking fee. If you have cigars with you, and this is the one thing that I learned also was um you know it's more of you know it can be disrespectful for you to go into a cigar lounge and not buy anything,
yeah, I get that
because
for sure.
like at the end of the day, like this is his business, so his business is selling cigars. So for you to run up in there and not buy anything, it's like it's not a hangout. Like you're here to support your local brick and mortar.
Right.
And and don't get me wrong, like there's always good deals online.
Yep.
you
Yeah,
know
like I always know I'll pay more at a brick and mortar than I will online, but at the same
yeah,
time, I'm like, you're supporting a local business. I want them to
yeah,
stay there. I want these places to stay.
exactly. But
But yeah, it's
when you're at home, like you have your stuff that you order online at home, but when you go out, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go and support, and that's how it should be.
that would be me a little.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What your favorite cigar experience?
Oh man. Um. So I got a tatuaje Gran Cajono, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I think it was a 2003. This was this summer actually, and just in my backyard with my wife. Got the fire pit going,
Yeah.
drinking some bourbon, and
Yeah.
just my wife and I, we were able to after it's hard to with kids now, man. We don't really talk during the day because it's just
Hmm.
impossible with two kids and
Yeah.
um, so like we just have great conversation. That's really all it is. Every time I've had an experience like that, it's around like my friends or I have a good
Yeah.
friend that whenever we get together at a lounge, whatever, the cigars are always they always seem to taste better, right? But I
Yeah.
think it's just
Exactly.
that experience. Yeah.
For me, it was like my dad. He doesn't smoke often, and if he smokes the first third, and that's it. He'll get to the first. He'll smoke for like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and he's done.
Yeah.
Even if it's a Connecticut. So, but just having that ability, just to have him just join into something that I enjoy doing
Yep.
was
Just to try it out. Yeah. Yeah.
exact was it's just always big to me.
Yeah. That's
So
funny you say that because like my dad, like, most people start smoking cigars because of their dad or their uncle or
yeah,
but like that wasn't the case for me. My dad does not smoke cigars. I seen
yeah,
him smoke one cigar at a wedding because they had, a guy there bringing
yeah,
cigars and he was in the wedding and like he took a couple puffs and
yeah,
you could tell it was just not for him. So but he supports me. He like watches the channel, and so it
Yeah,
means a lot to me that he does that. And I know it's not his thing, but he gets excited for me, which means the world to me. But
yeah,
um, you know, other so we try to connect on that. But yeah, like man, it's all about like doesn't even if you're if it's $5 cigar and you're with someone that means a
yeah.
lot to you, that's all you need, and that's why it's so hard to like tell someone, oh, don't buy the cigar, buy the cigar,
Hmm.
and that's why I try to shy away from that.
You
um
know what? It's one of those things where, um, like the only thing that gets me sometimes is when people buy the same cigars over and over again, and they don't want to branch out.
you know
But you have those groups that of people that are just padron smokers, or they only smoke Drew Estate, they only smoke Perdomo, they only smoke Tarawate, and
yeah
you're like, listen, like don't be afraid to branch out. It's
yeah
fine.
Yeah.
You know,
So
anything.
actually, Eric from thank you, man. Smoke one if you have one. Eric said something recently on a podcast. He said that his goal is to try every cigar. Obviously, it's impossible, right? Because there's
But
just so much. But like that's how I view it too, man. I'll smoke anything once. Like
if
and
knowing Eric will get very, very, very fucking close. Eric is a madman. Like so the first so me and my dad and my son, we were driving to Georgia. We just dropped off my youngest son, and we were passing through Athens because my dad wanted my son to see the UGA. And I'm like, Eric, you're in Augusta. So I met Eric for the first time. The first thing he does is hand me a fucking bag of cigars. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And then I see him later on that night. I'm like, I'm like, Eric, yo, let's link up. So he drove from Augustus to Atlanta, and me, him, my brother, and his wife, we all had cigars together, and it was you know, like it felt like, well, because me and Eric, we speak online all the time, and
right,
and it just felt like, man, like, yo, I'm smoking with my boy.
right. It doesn't
Even
feel
even
weird
even
because
yeah,
yeah,
even though he's all the way down, and he's all the way down in Georgia. I can't, he can't. I was in Atlanta. We linked up, and it was the same thing with Martine. The first time I met Martine was before Miami. I met Martine. I was in Tampa. And he goes, "Yo, I'm at the airport." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm at the Tampa airport." So I get my son. I'm like, "Yo, you want to come with me?" We go to the Tampa airport. His flight got delayed. We
that's
got
amazing,
there, and me and Martine chilled. We just smoked a cigar. We literally just chilled for like 4 hours because his flight got delayed.
man. That's
So
why that's
so
why I love it. Like I really hope to, even with you, I know it's gonna happen because we're so close
oh
to each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
But like
Close, close. Not to happen.
like even like Workman Cigars, man. I'm like, man, that man has a place to stay when he's
Yeah.
visiting this area. He's having dinner with my family, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the cool thing about this whole thing, man. The community, and to me, cigars are a great equalizer, man. Like you'll
It
talk to a
is.
CEO, and
Yeah.
you'll talk to whoever. Um, and it's really really cool. Not everyone is so nice and friendly, and some lounges you go to and you're like,
Well,
this is not the
I
vibe,
think I think the one thing about is with cigars is you can talk about anything,
Yep.
and nobody's gonna argue over politics. Like will people give their opinion? Yeah, but it will never be a drag out brawl because that cigar is like, because you're just having a conversation,
Yep.
and you'll never go, oh well, this guy's a dickhead because he's Republican, oh this guy's a
Mhm.
dickhead because he's Democrat. It's like, no, like you don't see that person for that. You see, like, yo, nah, this is my guy because like, exact. It's a judgment free zone.
Yep.
And you're able to have conversations that you can't have out in the street. You can have it. It's kind of like being in the barbershop.
Yeah. I
You
joke
know,
around because I'm bald. I'm like, man, this is like
It-
my hobby. It's my hobby
yo,
for the
listen,
barbershop for the bald guys.
exactly, exactly,
It's
man.
true.
So
It's true.
and like ain't like Angel's like my older brother, man. Like he's always giving me guidance, always giving me pointers. He's like he's always looking out for me. You know, and he's always like, especially like on a pod. If I say something wrong, he's like, "Yo, like calm that down," you know. So
I love
and
that.
he's
Yeah,
yeah, and he's always always looking out for me. And
I love that, man. That's what it's
you know,
all about, man.
yeah,
One of my best friends since middle school. We have completely different views on the world as far
yeah,
as anything you could think of. We think
hmm
opposites, but we can
yeah,
chill, we kick it. And
yeah,
he's in Taiwan right now, but like I know if I called him and I said I need you to come here right now, like he'll take a flight, and I'll do the same for
yeah,
him.
yeah,
And I think the world needs more of that, man, because
yeah.
this whole like picking sides and stuff, that's for the playground.
Only so for my childhood friends in New Rochelle, it's only one of my boys that smokes cigars, and he smokes rarely because his girl don't like it. She don't like the smell of it. So like if he sees me, he's like he'll sneak out, and he'll have like a little cigar. So this way he's it's not too bad
Does it
for him.
smell?
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so and it's one of those things that I feel like you kind of grow from just smoking weed into kind because the only thing I've ever smoked is cigars. I've never smoked weed. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
same.
You're right. You know what? And I would tell him that, but wifey would kill me, man. That's my girl. She's basically family. She basically family now. They've been together for so long. She basically a sister now. So
No, it's it's
yeah,
it's funny you say that because same thing with me, man. Like I've never been into weed or honestly anything else. Like drinking, I'm
yeah,
very very careful with. Just my grandfather was an alcoholic, and
yeah.
I just don't. I don't. I rather like you ever be around a lot of drunk people. You're like, this is not it. So
It's not
I
cool.
love I
It's
like
not cool.
chilling, having some bourbon, good conversations,
Exactly.
but like
You
like
know, it's very interesting because like you never hear about somebody. Well, because also too like bourbon, it costs money. You can't go and get
yeah,
like coke like mom like growing up, my mom's side of the family, they're big beer drinkers. So you can get like a Coke 45, and
yep.
you have 2-3 of those, and you good for the night. You
Hmm.
got you get a couple 40s in there, and they're fine. For me, like I like to go and have a nice cup of rum or some whiskey and just sip on it, and not drink till I'm like stumbling around. Because
Yeah, man,
you know what? Because it really destroys the experience.
it does.
You know,
And then
it can.
it ruins your day too. You wake up the next day, you got a headache. You're
Yeah,
like, man.
exactly.
But yeah, I drink like I drink for the flavor. What is
Yeah.
your go to drink? Like
Oh man. So like at my house now, I got like 25 bottles at the house right now. So um, like I really like I love like a sweet woody cigar. I mean cigars. Whiskey. So I love I like Noble Oak. I like
mm,
Larceny. Um so like one guy who he comes up like every like twice a year. My boy Block is also part of the Legion. Um I put Block on, but Block will bring some stuff up, man. Like he had this dovetail.
oh man.
Man, when I tell you, I was like, it was so good. But I like that one. I also like Kings County Distillery. They
Okay.
have a mixed it's like a mixed blend, but the flavor notes in it were so good because it was like a fruity type of like it was kind of like a cherry type of vanilla type of of note that came with that. I was like, man, this is really good. And Penelope. Penelope is probably my favorite out of everybody. I can have
Oh
Penelope
man.
anytime, anywhere. I put so many people in the shop. Like they had an event at down here in Jersey, and Penelope was there giving out giving out free samples. Listen, I was grabbing everybody. Come on, come with me, man. That
Penelope just had that release. It was I think it was called Rio. I wasn't able to get it, but I wanted it, man, because it was like a they did something with like Brazil,
yeah,
anything Brazil. I'm from Brazil, so I was like, man, I want to try that. So I
yeah.
couldn't get it where I was, but yeah, for me, I my go to is Buffalo Trace. I
But
love
you know
the
what? I love a
so good.
Buffalo Trace and an old fashioned. That's my go to. If I get an old
Mm,
fashioned, I feel like that's the perfect marriage
yep.
for old fashioned is Buffalo Trace with an old fashioned. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's hard to get here. I don't know why. There's like there's a bunch of production issues, I guess, but I've been drinking Old Grandad as a replacement, which is
Okay.
really good. And then for the winter time, I'll drink some rye, so Sazerac
Uh-huh.
rye. But Garrison Brothers from
Yeah.
Texas, man. Oh my God, they have one called Honeydew. It
Mm.
is it's a $90 bottle, but it is my favorite. Like if I want to celebrate, I'm buying that bottle.
See, like
Um,
for me, I'm cheap, so I don't go above
me too.
50. I
Well,
don't
me
go
too.
above
Yeah,
50. So
man.
like
One of
so
my
most oh go ahead, go sorry, go ahead.
no, no, I was gonna say like one of my friends is really into bourbon. I actually got him into bourbon, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have kids and stuff, so he's got like some crazy collections.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll try like I've had 400, $500 bottles. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is amazing, but I would never buy this, right?
Uh-uh.
And we did it was funny. We went to the casino one night and we did a blind. So his wife put him on little like
Yeah.
numbered little cups, and we like, and it's like my favorite was Eagle Rare. It was a store pick,
Yeah.
to be fair,
Yeah.
but like I'm like, man, that's
Uh
why Buffalo
yeah.
Trace is my go-to.
Peter, man,
Yes.
Whistle Pig is fire. Whistle Pig is fire. But I think like I think when it comes to cigars and whiskey, it goes together, and wine, because you're looking for you're able to search for notes.
Yep.
So because like with cigars, when you smoke a cigar, you're looking for notes. You're like, all right,
Yep.
what am I getting out of this? What am I tasting? Because you can like I call them golf sticks. Yeah. Hashi.
What's up?
You know, like like there's hold on, I got it. There we go. Real quick for my boy. Um, but there's certain sticks that just don't have any flavor. You can just blow through them, and you don't have to worry about no flavor notes or anything. And I was kind of honest. Like I'm gonna be real honest right now. So when I smoked the Perdomo 30-year Connecticut,
Mm,
um, I was like, all right. You know what? Like I need something light. Let me try this. Let me try something that I know that I don't have to focus on, or I can just go and get. And I had that 30, and I was like, yo, this is a fire. Uh this is a fire cigar for Connecticut. And I was actually really surprised by it. Yeah. Listen, Eric,
Eric.
just try it, okay? Nobody got time for your
Oh,
BS. All right, just try it. Try it before you
man,
knock. Like
that's funny you say that though, because that's how I feel about cigars. So before
yeah.
starting the channel, man, I would never spend more than like $20 on a stick. That's just I'm being honest. But
Mm,
like Peter sent me out some cigars, man, that I'm afraid to smoke some of them. They're just like so nice, and
That's
you know,
I have a whole humidor just full of stuff that Eric sent me. Like because everything that Eric sent me was like $20 and up. And I'm like,
yeah,
and
that's
you're
his
like,
budget stick right there.
yeah. And you're like, oh man, and I'm like, Eric, I'm waiting for a special occasion to smoke this. You know, And so my budget, my limit is $15.
Yep.
That's my limit because you know, like my limit is 15 just of the fact that I always feel like all right for $20 I can get two sticks for $20.
Yep.
So you know, oh so
Yeah. It's,
but before his comment gets eaten, Peter, you're right that four was a small batch.
uh, Four
Yeah,
Roses is solid, solid.
yeah.
It's
Oh
it
yeah. Uh-oh.
failed. What did I fail?
So if you taste citrus with the laranja, you can't be part of
Yes,
TAO.
man. Listen. I maybe I don't know. I took pictures with the oranges and everything. I did. I can't lie. I'm not gonna. There's like a tingly, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. There's some I don't know, but um, I got to try it again. Now you're making me like, damn, man. I don't know. Yes,
Well,
he did.
you know what? So I only smoked it once, and I got like a hidden citrus, not
It's
too
it's
much.
it's like like it's the skin of an orange, like when you press
Yeah,
it and the oils come
yeah.
out, like that
Mm-hmm.
tingly. That for me, that's what I got. So you can translate that into pepper, but I apparently failed. So I'm new at this, man. Give me like I'm trying to get there like you guys. My palate is growing.
Well, you know, like that, but that's the thing, man. It's like cigars. It's a journey, and the one thing that the journey that I appreciate is just the fact that you know, like the people at the shop are just willing to sit down with me and explain stuff. You
Yep.
know, like Sanj is always he's always getting me. He's always every day he's getting me.
I mean
But
that guy's the wealth of knowledge. Having him around, man.
exactly. Like, but Angel is too. Angel he goes when you smoke a cigar, put it at different parts of your mouth because your
Hmm.
tongue has different taste buds. So I remember one time we are in the shop and I was smoking something, and Angel he goes, smoke it. He goes, put it to your left side, put it to your right side. And I did that, and I got two different flavor notes.
Hmm.
So like, you know, and
That's
you put it
interesting.
down.
I've never see like I man, I
But
shouldn't be doing reviews. I'm just gonna I don't know, talk about just talk, no cigars anymore. That's it. I give
nah,
up. No, I'm just
nah,
kidding. No, but that's honestly like I love that. Like you learn so much and everyone gets I noticed is what you eat matters too.
yeah,
Like
yep,
if I have something with a lot of acid, so like one time I had like acidic food. So I had
yeah.
like pasta and I had a cigar and I had that cigar before and it was a completely different experience.
So one thing that I learned a few days ago from Sanj is if you let's say eat apples, it takes away the spice of that cigar because just because of the acidity in the apple will kind of like if you smoke something peppery after that you won't really get that huge pepper note.
What?
Yeah.
They still talk about the damn oranges, man. I'm about to delete that video. I'm gonna repost it in a week. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So
but
now I know what. No, no. First of all, knowing Eric, he probably tasted orange, but he didn't want to say something.
this is gonna age it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like cigars is really something that you're able to learn so much like and the more you smoke and like you're like yo I love the cigar like I really love like the Don Pepe
Hmm.
and I went back to it and I was like "Yo, this is shit." Well, it wasn't for me. Like, but the first time I smoked it, I really enjoyed. I was like, "Yo, this is like one of my like I can make this a go to." And I revisited it like a year later. I'm like, I can't, I don't like it for some reason now. And it could have been the fact that it could have been the fact that I had
Like your
you
food
know
intake, or yeah.
no, well, food intake, but just more knowledge.
Mhm.
You know,
Your palate
more,
also changes, right? So like
yeah,
it could have been that too. Like
yeah,
so for me, the way I got into like palate, like distinguishing flavors,
yeah,
my wife is really big into coffee, like single origin coffee. So like it's a whole science in our house. We
yeah.
don't do that like we don't do that in espresso. You know, we measure it in grams. Like you got scales in the kitchen, we got the
Shit.
grinder. You know, we measure the water. It's got to be clean water, cold water, and we do a drip system. So like, and we only have coffee single origin. So right now, like that's what I'm drinking. I'm
So
drinking coffee from Nicaragua, which is similar to cigars, like very earthy.
yeah.
And that's what I
So
like.
so did you work at Starbucks before?
No, my wife
No,
managed a
I'm
coffee
joking.
shop in a not well, Starbucks is a whole man. Starbucks is trash, man. It's burnt
It's
coffee.
super trash. Yeah,
Yeah. But
but
so there's do you know Darien in
mm-hmm,
Darien, Connecticut? So
mm-hmm,
that's a rich people live there, man.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yep.
But
Oh yeah.
yeah, she managed a coffee shop there, and
Okay.
they would do so when you work at a coffee shop, you do like cuppings daily, and it's blind test. So you're able to distinguish, and you can pick them out. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you like more acidic coffees, they're
Yeah,
probably from like Kenya. Like
yeah,
my wife loves coffee from Kenya. I hate it because to me it tastes like tomatoes because it's very
mm,
acidic,
yeah,
and I'm like I don't like that. I want earthy coffee. So
yeah.
it changes.
Like Rob is big into coffee. Like he'll go home. He like, nah, I need my coffee.
Yeah,
And he
make it at
like, and
home.
yeah, yeah. So
Straight black too. No
yeah,
no sugar, no
straight
cream.
black, no sugar. Listen. I like my
No.
coffee, cream, and sugar all day, every day.
See, but that's the thing. I'm not like Eric out here. I'll go to Donut Delight, Dunkin' Donuts. I'll
Hey,
drink. But then at home, well, Donut Delight's its own thing. But uh,
listen. The like Donut Delight is that's heaven on earth. All right, that's my spot.
yeah.
Love me some Donut Delight.
But Starbucks, nah, man.
Nah.
That's the one place I'm like, nah. I'd rather go to Dunkin' Donuts.
See, Hashi love he loves his black rifle.
Oh, the Black Rifle. So I just tried
Yeah,
one, and it was very bitter. Like I don't know, I because I always get medium roast because I hate like burned coffee,
yeah.
but I didn't get oranges there, man. I tell you that. No
Yeah, like
espresso too, man. Espresso. So when you
espresso.
drink espresso, if you drink it with like seltzer water
Yeah.
on the side, it brightens up. Like you take a sip of that, and then you have a little like it cleanses your palate. It is
Yeah.
incredible.
Eric's middle name should be Espresso. It should be Five Shot Eric. Like
Oh man, Working Man Cigars instant coffee, bro. Ah, dude, you gotta at least get freeze dried coffee where it's like good
oh
coffee.
my
That's better.
god. Oh.
That's that's bro. When I go to my in
Damn.
laws or my even my dad, man, like they drink that Bustelo and stuff. Man, I cannot,
Yo,
man,
listen.
I
That
can't.
Bustella's no that Bustella's no joke, man. That shit that would have you
Yeah,
wired.
or cafe. You ever had like Cuban cafecito with the sugar?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
syrup, man. Oh,
Yeah.
but with a cigar, that it works with a cigar.
Yeah. Like
That's funny.
like when I was down at Lewis's house, his wife made Cuban coffee and it was off the chain.
You'll be wired for like days off of that.
Yeah.
It's a crack, man.
Yeah.
That's why Cubans get so much done. That's why
Yeah.
like they fix everything and all that. They're drinking that all day. It's crazy. I
Yeah.
got Cuban friends. They'll drink that before they go to sleep, and they're fine. But yeah, I like. So for another thing too, I make my own beer. Like that's something I try to do.
Really?
Like, yeah. So
So
I'll buy the grains, the hops,
yeah.
the yeast, and I'll make my own blends. Really,
So like I'm not a beer drinker. I could drink Guinness or
Guinness is
stuff
amazing.
or like Brian and like, he put me on to what's that new stuff called? I can't even think of
The
it now.
seltzers?
No, I love the toasters too, but they're like the beer tastes like coffee and like fruity pebbles and stuff like that.
Stout?
Not stout.
Trying to
Um,
think. Or like IPAs? Is it
no,
a
they're
kind
like
of beer?
not crafts,
Oh yeah, yeah,
craft
yeah.
beers. So
Man, Connecticut's got
yo,
amazing
thank you,
craft beer.
Hashi. Yo, everybody hit that damn like button. You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? This would be a huge favor, man. If you can just put one of your friends on and tell them to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers. You know, help your boy out.
Let's go.
You know, oh, what's going on, Spencer? How you doing? You know, like it's it's one of those things where you really want with coffee, it's like from like my favorite coffee is Wendy's coffee. And that's
Look,
and that's a shame. You like talking to a guy like you who loves coffee is like oh,
but here's the
peasants.
thing though. Here's the thing. Like McDonald's coffee, that dollar coffee is not
Yeah,
that bad, man. It's not
it
that
isn't.
bad. And that's the
Yeah,
thing. Like that's the difference between like cigars and coffee. Like
yeah,
even really bad coffee, I'll drink it.
yeah,
One of my friends, I mean, that's coffee is her whole life. She works for it's a company called Counterculture in
yeah.
Miami. And so she was actually on cigars, like she was one of cigar magazines pairing
Oh,
coffees
wow.
with cigars. And same thing with her. Like she'll drink anything, she has to, but if we have a preference, we're gonna make it at home.
Like so like how'd you get into like brewing your own beer?
Oh man, so that YouTube took me that route, man. Honestly, like I was just like, I told you, my brain is so like I have a million thoughts at a time, and if I don't quiet my brain with something,
Mm-hmm.
I'll deal with like anxiety and stuff. So I'm always trying to learn something or read up or being part of something. So I went down that path, and I was like, I could do this, and so I bought all the stuff, and it was like it was a COVID project for sure.
Yeah.
So I bought my brewing equipment. I actually grind my own. I actually have some here. I just bought some. I got to make some, but I make 5 gallons at a time,
Wow.
and I like to give it out. Honestly, I don't drink it all, but I
Yeah.
like to give it out and be like, hey, let me know what you think. And
Well, you know
but
what?
it's
Like when you're a cook, I think when you're a cook, the best compliment you can hear is this was amazing. Because it's like all that hard work, all that thought, the ideas, the prep work, especially the prep. Cooking is
yep,
all about prep, and like when people say, damn, this beer
yeah,
is rocking, you're like, all right, all right, like maybe I can make another batch of that.
yep. And tweak it too. Like I have the
Yeah.
recipes and I'll tweak it.
Yeah.
This is how we're having like I'm enjoying conversation and the cigar keeps going out. But
Yeah.
um
It's especially for a Jewish state cigar.
yeah, it's sitting there long, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, that's true. It's just fun. And when I was out in Florida, I was like, oh man, people don't know what real good pizza is and they don't know what
Yeah.
real good beer is. Cause
Yeah.
like where we live, man, it's some of the best craft beers in the
Yeah.
country is coming out
Hmm.
of, New England. So that's really what it is. I like to gift it and you know, I like cooking too, but I
Yeah.
like you said, all the prep work.
Yeah.
I've talked about it on my channel before, but like I like doing experiments. I'm obsessed with fermentation. That's why I really like cigars.
Yeah.
Um, but like I'll like sous vide stuff, and
Yeah.
I'll try to I love doing that stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm always trying to. I have some experience going, making own sauerkraut stuff like that, my own bread.
Hmm. So, my big ass, I like to go and make I like to make cake. I like to make like cake, stuff like that. But like if I'm doing like it depends on if I'm doing a cake for like a party of grown-ups, I'll go and add so I'll go and add Hennessy to the cake batter.
Ooh,
I mean,
man,
it make a Hennessy cake.
that sounds amazing.
Oh, it's fire.
Have you ever had tres leches?
I don't like the I don't like the texture of it.
Okay, I figured. So here's the thing too. Depending on from who makes it, like my wife makes it, but
Yeah,
all my cakes. I like them to be on the denser side. I don't
yeah,
like mushy. Like
yeah,
angel
yeah,
cake is not cake to me. Like I like
yeah.
it's got to be rich. It's got to be like
Exactly.
heavy. It's got to
So
feel like cake. But
like my son, he's half Dominican.
okay,
He loves like thresh. He likes anything like super milky and stuff like that. I can't do
you know,
that. You know?
yeah. Some of it is yeah, I know what you mean with the texture because some of it is
Yeah,
just like there's no texture to it. But
yeah,
Um, I've had tres leches where they'll add you could do a little bourbon or add something in there too. It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah. I'll go and the problem is you just have to cook it to make sure that the middle cooks. Just because of that extra liquid is inside of it.
Liquid,
So
right?
you know, but you know, besides like doing stuff like that, um, you know, yeah, make some oh rum cake. Ah, there we go. There we go.
Hashi, only if we have the laranja, okay? Only if we have that cigar.
Listen, first of all, Hosh knows it. When I bring my black ass to Utah, I always so like the joke is like Hashi's humidor is insane. Like Hashi has his own walk-in humidor in his house. So so Hashi goes I go when I leave your humidor, you might have to pat me down. He goes, don't worry about it. I have the
That's
shotgun right beside me. I want the hands up, and I'm gonna pat you down. Because me and Hashi's joint is the
oh man.
Pappy Van Winkle. Yeah,
Whew.
so
I haven't I haven't had that, but
oh
I've been waiting. Like I'm trying to find it. There's I'm trying to get it at a decent price. It's just it's kind of like cigars. I definitely don't want to
oh
buy
no
a
no
whole.
no no. So Drew Estate has a Pappy
Oh,
cigar.
okay, okay. So you
Yeah,
guys like that cigar?
yeah, man.
Okay,
That's a
I
go
gotta
to,
try
man.
that.
Like if I like whenever I can get it, so from Drew Estate, Sanj, he's very cool with Matty Rock. And oh, he comes to the shop maybe 2 or 3 times a month. And when he comes, he brings his bag of goodies. He goes,
Mm.
I got something for you. And I go, really? He goes, yup, I got some pappies for you. He goes, go in there and grab a couple. So I'll go in there, I'll grab 1 or 2 pappies, and I'll be good to go. So so he's giving me the pappy, he's giving me the new the blacken.
How did you have the blacken?
I had the blacken.
What'd you think?
Uh it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It's better than the H. I do not like the H99 at all.
Okay.
Like I don't like the H99 at all. Um the Blacken's actually really good. I enjoyed that one. And the Pappy I really enjoyed. But the funny thing too is I actually enjoyed the like I like the Connecticut shade from Drew Estate because it's still spicy for Connecticut. It's very spicy for Connecticut.
Mm.
Have you ever had the AJ Connecticut?
No. I honestly,
Put,
I before I
put
started this, I wouldn't even buy Connecticut's. And then what really changed that
really,
for me was when I had the sobremesa, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
like there's Connecticut's with flavor
yeah,
out there.
exactly, yeah. Well, now the game has changed now. Like your
Yeah,
Connecticut, like
it's game on.
you can't have a blank Connecticut anymore. You have to like your Connecticut has to have some flavor to it. See, you know what? Like Spencer, I so before I was gonna light up this Agronus leaf, I was actually gonna light up I was gonna light the Oliva 135.
Peter, I was just
That
I gotta get that Pappy. So the nearby I saw that lounge had it. So tomorrow I'm gonna stop by and get one. I gotta try that.
mm. Yeah, well, you know what? Like the problem is that since they're rare, they'll try to jack the price up on a Pappy. So just be careful. Not like if they try to hit you for $30 for it, don't get it. 25,
Yeah,
don't get
what's
it.
the limit? Yeah, yeah.
I would say 20 is the limit
Okay.
because MSRP is 15. So but
That's
so
fair.
between 22 the most.
All
Like
right.
22 the most, you know. The lasagna was good. I had that one. Tony hit me off one of those.
Damn, he's hooking you up.
No, well, so whenever Tony comes down to New York, he'll go and he'll bring something that I brought up that he has, and we'll be talking and we'll be talking about cigars, and out of nowhere he'll pop out with it like, yeah, hey, here you go. So you
That's
know,
amazing.
yeah, because so Tony Pike comes to New York maybe once every 3 to 4 months. He'll come down to New York,
Mm,
and we'll do like a little mini hef.
that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it's it's the Legion is great, man. The people in it are great. Um, you
Yeah, I'm
know,
so glad I was able to get in there, man. There's some really cool people.
yeah.
I definitely want to jump on there and
In
be
the
more
tribe,
active.
you gotta jump in the tribal.
Yeah.
But we've been going on for 2 hours. Listen, y'all know where to go. Take y'all asses to the tribal. Spencer, I'm sorry you came in so late, man. But hopefully, I'm trying to keep it going for every Monday. So I'm trying to book a guest for next Monday. So you know, so guys, you guys know the
Thank you so
routine.
much, man.
Yo, listen, man. Felipe, I appreciate you guys coming on. If you're not subscribed to Cigarside Chat, subscribe to his channel. Leave a comment in the video that Innocent sent you. And
Yeah.
you know, until next time, guys, you know the vibes already. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Big Guilty Cigar Podcast. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
you
bro.
guys for watching. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
We'll
And,
get
and
together.
yeah, oh for sure. That no, we're way too close not to. And
Yep.
for all the rest of you guys, take your asses to the tribal. All right. I see you guys there.
All right.
All right.